Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Ingrid's World. I'm your host, Ingrid Paris Hicklin, and on this show, you get to meet Catholic Charities of the Diocese of Arlington. We will be speaking to Art Bennett, President and CEO, and Rick Kapler, Board Chairman. Very important show, and I'm so glad you decided to watch it. Well, welcome to the show, Art Bennett and Rick Kapler. Glad to have you.
Thank you so much, Ingrid. Pleasure to be here.
Well, let's start off with you, Art. Give us an overview of Catholic Charities of the Arlington Diocese.
Ingrid, I'd love to. I think maybe the best way is to talk about the four core values of Catholic Charities, because that kind of explains what we do and why we do it. The first one is we serve the poor. All the programs we have, everything we do is to serve those that might otherwise not be served or are kind of on the free fall of life, and their dignity is threatened and their integrity and finances, and they're discouraged. So those are the people we're looking for that we really want to help. So that's serving the poor. The second is we are a Catholic agency. We do this because we saw Christ do it. He helped anybody. So we don't just help Catholics or Christians. We help anyone who's eligible for our services. But the reason we do it is we're trying to really be the hands and to respond as we think Christ would like us to respond in that way. So we're a Catholic organization in that regard. And we work under the Bishop of Arlington, Bishop Burbidge. The third is we hope our services are transformative. That is, when we help people, when we assist them, we're helping them turn their lives around. We're helping them reframe what was a horrible situation or difficult situation into an opportunity when they're surrounded by love to transform their lives. Wow. And then the fourth core value is resources. We need volunteers. We need people helping us financially, but also with their prayers. And then we all work together. We have over 3,000 volunteers working together to help those people out there that need help to transform their lives.
Wonderful. Thank you, because that really just brings it together for us. I'm just blown away with the impact you have on our community, which is a great segue to talk about the history of Catholic Charities. Rick, can you tell us about the history of Catholic Charities?
Oh, sure, Ingrid. Catholic Charities goes back to 1947 to the Diocese of Richmond. And as Art mentioned, at that time, Richmond was the only diocese for the entire state of Virginia. And Catholic Charities started and had a big presence as an adoption agency and providing emergency relief services like rent payments and so forth, but had a strong presence in the adoption field. Then in 1974, the Diocese of Arlington was created, as Art mentioned, covering the northern part of the state. And Catholic Charities was instituted in Northern Virginia and 21 counties that the Arlington Diocese serves. So it started from fairly modest beginnings and has grown quite a bit over the years. It's just grown, especially in recent years. We've added a number of new programs we'll talk about as we go along here. But the history is rooted in the Diocese of Richmond, and then has always been part of this Arlington Diocese ever since it was created in 1974.
Wow, that's very exciting about what. And so, Art, you touched on it a little bit about what the mission of, because you said you do a lot more than just giving a particular service. You do something, I remember speaking to a board member and they said is transformational services.
Right.
Speak a little bit more about what the mission is.
The mission really is to make those four core values that I talked about real and actual. So we're here to serve. Service is the most fundamental aspect of love that we represent. So our mission really is to love people, but we focus really on those people that are in kind of in trouble, on the margins, and really maybe possibly have nobody helping them. So everything we do in our organization is to strengthen our resolve and our abilities to serve. And so we have over 21 programs, and I know Rick will go into that a little later, but the bottom line is to meet people where they're at on their terms as best we can, and then to do everything we can to help them rise up, overcome the discouragement, the financial problems, the traumatic life they've had, and to see hope and to be surrounded by people who love them and want to help them overcome problems and live a better life. So I think the mission of Catholic Charities is to really help people turn their problems into strengths, and so they can rejuvenate and be full of hope and a future.
That is so key. It really is.
Yeah.
So in terms of the vision, Rick, is there more that you would like to add in terms of what the vision is for Catholic Charities?
Sure, Ingrid. I think the vision of Catholic Charities is rooted in the dignity of each person. We're the charitable arm of the Diocese of Arlington, and we see ourselves as helping fulfill the mission of the Catholic Church to bring healing and help to those in need. I guess in a sense you could say that we're like the hands of God here on the ground working to help the people that Art was talking about.
Wow.
We do see ourselves as transforming lives, and we like to think that in every person we see the face of Christ, and that's what motivates us. And now I just want to stress that we're not heavy-handed about imposing our faith on the people we serve or proselytizing or anything like that. We don't expect people to share our beliefs or anything. We're just here to help them.
Wow.
But we hope that if they're, in the course of receiving care and help, they can realize through our services that God loves them, cares about them, and is present in their life.
Excellent.
So
Excellent.
I guess you'd say that our vision would be a world where people are treated with passion, respect, and dignity, especially the most needy among all of our population.
Well, that's just so key, and it's beautiful that you're laying this out right now, particularly this particular month when people are really looking for help, and some are going to have some real difficult times ahead of them. Art, you talked a little bit about where the programs are located. I'm just blown away that it goes all the way to Charlottesville. Is that what you said?
Just a little bit north of Charlottesville. Charlottesville's the other diocese, but that's a pretty good. Yeah, we go all the way out to Winchester, out to a city called Kilmarnock, which is out the northern neck, southeast of Fredericksburg, and just kind of all those 21 counties and 7 cities that make up what we call normally Northern Virginia. Though the people in Fredericksburg don't want to be called Northern Virginia, but so we got to be sensitive about that. But yeah, so where the program is found, ideally where we can serve. In our diocese we have urban, suburban, a lot of suburban, but also a lot of rural counties, and there tend to be less people and less resources the farther west you go out into the rural counties. So we do what we can to put the programs closer where people are. For example, we have a food program in Front Royal, Virginia, way out there in Warren County. And I think that's the only food pantry in the whole county is the one we run.
Wow.
On the other hand, we assisted 57 other pantries and mostly getting food, to be honest, from the counties that are wealthier, people generous, have something they can give. Now, there's always need there. Alexandria, Fairfax, Loudoun, they have needs right there. But then we also, our contract is we're going to take it to other people in other parts of our diocese who have less support from the counties and maybe more needs, tougher to get jobs, tougher to make ends meet. So we see ourselves as kind of covering the whole county. And to be honest, in some ways, the pandemic has helped that, Ingrid.
Really?
For example, yeah, we probably can't get a counselor in Front Royal or a counselor to Winchester or Kilmarnock, but now somebody could call on the phone and we can help them live right away.
Oh.
So that's one of the changes we made is, oh my gosh, we have to help all these people. So now our access is greater in some sense. Now, there's nothing like face-to-face, person-to-person. On the other hand, we can somehow go broader so our attorneys can help people with their legal problems related to immigration. We can do medical care, some of it, not all of it, online. and we can certainly do a lot of the counseling and help with people. So we try to cover the whole all those counties. It's a lot of people. We don't always get on top of everything, but overall we do a pretty good job.
Excellent. So we're going to jump into the service areas, those 5 key service areas, because that's just another aspect of it. So our community could, our audience will be able to see what are those 5 areas. And just briefly, we're going to show them in detail on the screen. And we want to start us off?
Sure, Ingrid. As Art mentioned, we have 21 programs, and we divide them into 5 major categories. So we have crisis response, dignity of life, health, newcomer services, and transformational housing. Now, within those, let me just take a minute to talk a little bit about each of those. Under crisis response, for instance, this is where you would find our emergency assistance program. This is where we help people make their rent payments, buy prescriptions, pay their utility bills. But a lot of people think of Catholic Charities' basic work. And as Art mentioned, we have a big presence in the food distribution area. We have our St. Lucie Food Project, which is based in Manassas, but serves the entire area. We have a very large facility out there with commercial grade refrigeration equipment, freezers and trucks, refrigerated trucks, everything. And we really move a lot of food around the diocese. So we have a car ministry. We connect people with cars who are needing transportation. Christians are networking program to help people find jobs. A thrift store in Alexandria, and an evening meal. That's something worth commenting on. We provide this at our Christ House homeless shelter in Alexandria, and we have provided a dinner meal for homeless people and people in need of food every day, 365 days a year since this diocese started. So that's really quite an accomplishment. So there are other areas too. Let me move to the next area, dignity of life. And this has to do with our efforts to help pregnant women, provide various kinds of support and counseling. We provide prenatal care, our Mother of Mercy free medical clinics, and we also provide post-adoptive counseling. And we cover all ends of the spectrum here. We run a SEAM center called the St. Martin Victoria Center in Alexandria. And we also run a prison ministry that we call the Welcome Re-Entry Program. And this helps people who are coming out of prison to get acclimated back to society and to avoid getting up back in prison. So the next major area would be health. And that includes our family services counseling. As Art mentioned, a lot of that is happening by telemedicine now or video. And that's individual counseling, marital counseling, family counseling. And we have 2 free medical clinics. We call them our Mother of Mercy free medical clinics. We started the first one in Manassas a couple of years ago, what had been a clinic. And now it's a place of life healing. And we just opened in spring another clinic in Woodbridge. And that's both Art mentioned are operating for the most part by telehealth telemedicine right now. But we also offer a retreat for the seriously ill. This is a very wonderful, it's a weekend retreat that allows people with serious illnesses to have a spiritual renewal and just feel the companionship and company of others in a simple situation. Have a real spiritually healing experience. Then moving on to newcomer services. Our primary program there called Migration and Refugee Services. And this helps coming into the country, our immigrant population, people who are arriving from various countries. And work with the U.S. State Department and the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops to help resettle families and individuals, unaccompanied minors throughout the diocese. And this program has grown very large over the years. It has its ups and downs depending on the policies of the State Department, but it's been a steady source of and relief for people entering this country and just need to get settled.
Right.
We also have our legal services. These services include things like citizenship classes and helping people with their immigration problems, legal problems, provide legal help, and make sure they're squared away and on their way to becoming U.S. citizens. And we run a workforce development and education program, which helps our newcomers learn about the job market, how to go about applying for jobs, help get them employed. So we do a lot for newcomers in our area, our population.
Right.
We're very proud of our efforts to work with the government and other groups to help these people. And then finally, transformational housing. We have two main housing facilities. The first is our St. Margaret Ortona facility, which is a 14-unit apartment building in Prince William County. That's primarily for families, and those tend to be young mothers with young children, and they are very much because they have kids, and it's hard for them to hold down jobs, it's hard for them to find jobs, transportation can be an issue. So this housing facility gives them a stable place to live. These people are often coming from situations or very bad situations with other lives, and gets them into a stable environment. So the other program is Christ House in Alexandria, and that's a real fixture in the Alexandria community. That's been there for years.
Wow.
And that serves men. We bring in homeless men, and it's not just a place for them to stay. They have training there, they have classes, we help them find work, we counsel them, we provide all sorts of services that they need to become productive members of society.
Wow. Well, you've done a great job just, wrapping us and giving us a look of what the impact of Catholic Charities. Thank you so much for doing that for us, Rick. As we transition to talk about what COVID-19 is doing, we have a very powerful slide. And Art, can you tell us what we're looking at on this slide here about the impact of Catholic Charities?
Well, what happened with the pandemic was that the needs went up tremendously. A lot of people that had been giving us food now had to go to the other side of the line and come to receive food because they either lost their job or their spouse lost their job or they were put in a precarious situation. So it was a real challenge for us because the needs went way up right away. But with a lot of the parishes and organizations shutting down, at first we were a little paralyzed because we weren't able to get as many resources. But I tell you, we got the word out of the work we're doing, and we were able to help a lot of people. But that's really because so many people responded, people that did. So we've spent more than $1 million on helping people with rent, evictions. Evictions were very precarious, so we help people avoid that. Also utilities, they couldn't pay their utility bill. And then many people couldn't put food on their table. I would say food is the biggest need. But the worst thing that could happen is to be evicted. So we spent about $1 million on those things. Regarding food, we've gathered over 900,000 pounds of food. People have been so generous. But to be honest, we're still trying to catch up. The need is even greater. And we've helped over 14,500 people attain food during this time. So we've trying to catch up. We're doing a pretty good job, again, because of generosity of people as well. In medical assistance, all of our medical care is free. It's a free clinic. It's provided by doctors and nurses that volunteer. And I want to highlight that. Doctors and nurses who volunteer their time.
Wow.
After they work these long hours, they come to our clinic and they help people.
That's tremendous.
We have helped so many people with that as well. So I could go on and on. The need has been great. The response and charity of people has been greater. Yeah.
Well, which is a great segue for us now to watch this wonderful video that you brought to us, showing the face of Christ, Catholic Charities of Arlington. Everyone, you're in for a treat about the impact of Catholic Charities.
I don't think we can ever underestimate any good deed that we perform. When we are present to those who need us the most, we show them the face of Christ.
I'm from a Christian background, and I never experienced the Catholic background and how they're, helpful in the community. I was working in Virginia, and I was taking the metro for the first couple of months. Transportation had shut down due to track work. At the same time, my mother had lost her house. So I ended up sleeping on benches in the city of Alexandria. I came to Christ's house for a couple of times, got familiar with the surroundings, with the people. Then I said, I'm gonna go ahead and make this step. I'm going ahead to fill out an application. They had rooms available. I guess everything worked out in my favor, and I'm here.
For the men as they come in here to Christ House, our mission statement is financial independence and spiritual renewal. They don't have to be Catholic to come here. They actually don't even have to be Christian to come to Christ House, but we talk to them about their faith, developing their interior life with God, about charity, about giving back.
Christ House gave me confirmation that if you help others, that blessings will just come your way.
So on the front end, we want to make that clear that we have all these 20, 21 doors of programs. Whatever door you come through, you should be very welcomed. Next thing we try to do is then offer them the other services we have, complementary services that can help with that problem.
It's an amazing resource for us that we can reach out for help with pregnancy and adoption services, medical services.
Our goal is to be able to treat them holistically, seeing what other services they need in order for them to then focus on their health.
Christ House is one of about 20 ministries of Catholic Charities.
That includes programs like the St. Lucie Food Project.
We provide food throughout the diocese, 21 counties and 7 major cities.
It includes our 2 housing programs, Christ House and St. Margaret of Cortona. We also provide an evening meal at Christ House.
We feed 50 people a night, 365 days a year, and that ministry has been going every night since 1974.
We also operate a thrift store that provides clothing to homeless and low-income people at no cost.
Catholic Charities helps people, from Christmas to home buying to cars. There's relief in every form when it comes to Catholic Charities.
It really makes working with a client kind of exciting because we're able to tap so many resources.
We serve them with love, dignity, compassion. We try to be there for them.
The reason why we help people is, most importantly, we were there ourselves. We know the pain, we know the struggle, we know what it feels like. I definitely believe in my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. He is the one that, number one, delivered me from my addiction.
I believe in the dignity of everybody, including you. And where does it come from? Why are we doing it? It's an extension of Christ's love for you. We do this because that's what Christ wants us to do.
Any small measure we do, Christ will multiply that in ways that are truly miraculous.
There comes a time where you need to give back, just like the Catholic Charities is doing. Like they help me, I want to help others.
Thanks again for bringing that video, Art. So are there opportunities for the community to help? What can the community do?
Well, like Rick said earlier, we're trying to remind people of their dignity and show them the face of Christ. And Christ has a lot of things he wants to get done and a lot of people he wants to help. So I think one way to look at Catholic Charities is a tremendous opportunity to find a way to help people, because I think in all of us, in our hearts, Christ has placed the desire to serve, the desire to love people and to serve, but it's kind of hard to know how to do that. So I think one of the great assets of Catholic Charities is we can provide the vehicles, like maybe you have a gift with counseling, you can volunteer with us, or you want to stock food on the shelf, we always need that, or drive food out to Front Royal, we certainly always need that, or maybe you're an attorney with some time or money on your hands, you want to help us, you can do that. So we try to be a magnet to give people the opportunity to help. And because when we help our brothers and sisters, they're all our brothers and sisters, like Rick said, they're all with dignity from God.
Yes.
When we live that and enact that, it brings so much joy to our hearts and peace to us. So I see as our major job is to provide the vehicle so people can help people, therefore discover themselves. They transform themselves as they help to transform others. So we always need volunteers, and we're safe. We're all COVID compliant on that and have all the restrictions in place. But if you could go to ccda.net, ccda.net, and what is your desire? Is it to help people? You want to work close to home? You want to help teach a class English or something? See what's there and see, prayerfully see if it might fit for you, because we need your help to help more people.
Well, I would tell you, what a privilege to have you on the show, Art, and you, Rick Kaffler, for being on the show, because it's all about, getting that message out and to know that it's going to help the entire community, those who are in need. I would like to commend you and thank you so much for being on the show. Our inspirational quote this time is from Pope Francis, and says, having faith does not mean having no difficulties, but it means having the strength to face them and knowing we are not alone. Thank you for watching Ingrid's World, and don't forget to friend us on Facebook and follow Ingrid's World VA in Twitter and Instagram. And if you miss an episode, please watch Ingrid's World on YouTube or ingridsworld.org. Thanks for watching.